The envelope fell out of a pile of letters Vance was about to throw in the trash. He reluctantly sorted through the old papers and raised his hand over the trash can, when he suddenly noticed a matte edge with highlights of dark spots. There was a photograph in the envelope. 6 children are sitting on chairs, in a semicircle. When he reached the kitchen, Vance sat down at the table and stared at the black and white photograph, the faces of his classmates stirring in his head, sprouting through the thick memory wood like mushrooms. No, this is definitely not his class. The longer Vance stared at the photo, the more strange the composition depicted on it seemed. None of the children looked into the frame, except for one little boy, clearly out of age from the rest of the group. The guys were about 10 years old. The boy who stared straight at the photographer was 6 or 7 at the most. However, there was a lot of work to do. Victor put the picture aside and continued to dismantle the cluttered apartment of his parents. They died 6 months ago, and all this time something prevented the guy from returning to the house. First grief and unwillingness to once again experience the pain of loss, then circumstances, a business trip for 3 months. This could have dragged on further, if not for the lawyer's call. The time had come to draw up the inheritance. Then Vance decided to face the inevitable and went into the apartment for documents. It seemed that the parents still live here. Mother cooks mushroom soup in the kitchen, and father reads the newspaper in an armchair. That the ghosts of the past, like a house of cards, quickly formed before new impressions. They came from Vance's room. Did I live here? Vance reasoned as he sat down on his bed. Aircraft and tank models, toy dinosaurs, diplomas for excellent studies. That life was marked off by a dense dark curtain, which was almost impossible to look behind. And now another photo. Until the evening, Vance searched for the documents he needed, periodically took out boxes of garbage, smoked and drank coffee a couple of times. All this time his gaze kept falling on the picture. Who are you? But the children silently looked around. Suddenly, like lightning, the girl from the edge seemed very familiar. Not even her, but her pendant, a lion with an open mouth and beady eyes. This was worn by Mary Davidoff, a girl from the senior class. From a sudden flash of memories, Vance sat down. Yes, Mary did not part with the pendant. She was born in Santa Monica and considered the lion to be her talisman. I wish I could look at her now, Vance thought, opening his smartphone. For several minutes he delved into the search line of the social network, smiling at stupid guesses. Is Davidoff still carrying this pendant? Maybe she is no longer Davidoff. A lot of time has passed. She could get married. No, Vance whispered. The heart was pierced with a large gypsy needle. Mary did not marry. Mary died. A coffin appeared on the black stage of memory, closed, boarded up with rusty nails, as if the undertaker had specially hidden the beauty of Mary from everyone. He enjoyed it alone, bending over the mutilated body. The girl was killed. Then this news was a real shock for the school. Classes were cancelled. Mary was found not far from the house. Her throat was squeezed by a tight wire. Her dried pupils looked into the cloudy autumn sky, as if they were aware of their fate. Vance smoked. He felt the irreversibility of the process of memories, because the boy standing next to Mary cannot be found on social networks either. He died a month later, went into the elevator and pressed all the buttons at once, a childish prank. The cabin stopped. The guy rushed about in a yellow vertical coffin and tried to open the doors on his own. Somehow it turned out. In the gap between the floors appeared adults who had come running to the noise. Someone stubbornly pulled the child. Others tried to open the tight lips of the elevator more. And then the cabin went, turning the child's body into a bloody rag. 2 out of 6, Vance whispered. In the center of the picture, the photographer prudently placed the twins, Tom and Dan. They both stared at the floor, tired, black and white dolls, little prisoners waiting in line for a scary memory. And it came. Vance is standing on the bank of a pond. It's summer. Flies are circling over broken apples, and men are scurrying along the bank. After a few moments, they will pull out the net with the twins. Death wove them together, and the old women from the first floors whispered for a long time about the seal of the curse. Such lines, dark brown, not characteristic of stiff bodies, as if a tentacle of darkness appeared from the gaping abyss of horror and touched a person, dooming him to a quick death. Vance felt uneasy. He found his father's supply of cognac and drank almost a full glass. There is no point in digging further into the memories. It is obvious that the fifth child is also dead. However, the fate of the boy looking at the camera was still mysterious. Vance did not know his name. This child obviously did not go to school with them. He seemed to have appeared from nowhere to perform his formidable ritual, to sacrifice 5 innocent children's lives to the monster. All the children in this picture are dead. Striking a match, Vance was about to burn the photo. Flames engulfed the lower edge, black and white colors began to turn blue, and then a caustic green smoke turned out, from which breath was taken away, and pain appeared in the eyes. The picture fell out of his hands, landing upside down in the sink, and then Vance was completely covered. He put out the flames and slowly brought the picture closer to his face. This inscription, made by a child's hand on the back. To our younger friend from the Oral Travel Club, Vance Klaus. Now it's clear why Vance doesn't remember the boy. The boy is himself. And, it would seem, you need to cling tightly to your mind. Think about why the curse bypassed him, but deep down, Vance felt cold, as if they had splashed ice water on the coals. And so are the parents. The apartment became quiet, and Vance's dark reflection trembled on the matte surface of the photo.
Thank you for your attention. Subscribe to the channel.